McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titan! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
Safety, now you're one-on-one with the...
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, how's everyone doing today? My guest, we have a former Longhorn, former Titans tight end. We have Bo Scaife. How you doing, Bo?
Hey, man, how you doing? Nice to meet you, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, absolutely, man. Like I said, every person that comes on and stuff, that's either you've been on the team for a year, 2 years, as long as you wear the two-tone blue, man, you're Titan family forever. You Titan royalty forever. Just like that chair we talked about it. I mean, I need to get myself a chair like that, man. That's a hell of a chair you got going on.
Yeah, man. You know, you can buy them at the local furniture store. Some of them already come assembled, and some you might have to put together.
Oh, I ain't putting anything together, but I like it though. I like it a lot, man. But let's talk about your career and stuff like that, and talking about obviously living in Dallas, had a former Longhorn, Brian Arakpo, and he was explaining to me about, just putting on that jersey. It's different. It's even like the college, Texas it's a big deal over here in Texas. What did you think about when you got, you went to Texas? Was that your first choice, or what other choices did you have in mind?
Well, I was a part of Coach Brown's first #1 recruiting class. I mean, that was right after he got there. Ricky Williams had just won the Heisman. Ricky's the reason I went to Texas.
Okay.
So being a part of a class, the #1 class, you were already under the understanding that the best players were going there that year. So, if I consider myself one of the best players in the country, then, I need to go be there with those guys and compete with those guys. So it was a no-brainer decision for me. I had other big offers pretty much to, all the big schools across the country, but Texas was just a great fit for me.
Definitely. And again, loved when you played in Texas. I'm not a Texas person. Again, like I said, I live in Dallas, but I'm FSU, but they've been trash since.
Yeah.
They've been bad, man. It's been rough. But going from transitioning from, college football to the NFL, were there any teams you had in mind, or was it kind of basically like, hey, whoever picks me, I'm gonna make the best out of it and go with it? Or there was a couple teams like you wanted to play for?
Well, my boy, Shanahan, his dad was the coach for the Broncos. So, I mean, obviously, you always want to play for your hometown team.
Of course.
I grew up around those guys. I always admire those guys, Shannon Sharp, Ross Smith, Elway, Terrell Davis, Al Wilson, and those guys, Champ Bailey. So it was, just growing up here, you're fascinated by the pros. They're in the community. You get to see them. And so obviously, I would love to have been a Denver Bronco. I had no idea the Titans were going to draft me. I had a few teams say they were going to take me earlier in the draft, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. So it was a long wait for me. A real frustrating day. I'm definitely one of those guys who kind of came to the league with a chip on his shoulder. I obviously felt like he was better than he was drafted at, but it worked out. I never had seen the 615 area code,
Okay.
So I remember getting that call, and I'm like, damn, who the hell is 615? But I was very, I knew who Jeff Fisher was.
Okay.
My freshman year at Texas, I actually went. That was my first Super Bowl I ever attended with Chris Sims. His dad was doing the Super Bowl. It was Titans and Rams, the 1-yard game. So it's crazy how all that came full circle. But it worked out great. Nashville and the Titans itself, were great to me. They put a lot of faith in me. They drafted me. So I got nothing but love for, the Titans.
Definitely, man. And again, you came from the draft. I think it was a 6th round draft pick. You had Pac-Man Jones was another person that got picked the 1st round. You had Michael Roos as well. Yeah. So you had a really decent draft class coming in with you and stuff like that. What was your mentality going into, the Tennessee Titans organization, and who was the first person or first player, let me say, that you encountered with or had, I guess, a bond with?
My mentality was just go in there and make plays. I mean,
Okay.
that's how you get noticed in football. You make plays. You go out there and you make plays. Guys start, calling your name and, giving you high fives. And as a rookie, that's what you got to do. You got to go in there. You just be quiet. You put your head down and you make plays. I had came in with a sports hernia, so I didn't do no OTAs. I'm walking on the treadmill every day. In my very first day, I show up to practice, and stretching with the guys. They're like, man, we thought you was a coach. So, that's what Keith Bullock told me. My first interaction with, some of the veteran guys was Keith Bullock, one of my best friends right now. But I remember I was sitting down, sitting where the vets sit in the team meeting room. I'm there early before the first team meeting, and I'm sitting where the vets sit. I didn't know the rookies had to sit down below.
Oh.
And, vintage Keith Bullock, he yells out loud and makes a scene. What are you doing up here, Rook? Get your ass down there. I'm just like, and all I'm thinking in my head is like, shit, I'm not playing with him on the mat anymore. But Keith Bullock was a great leader. He was, probably my big brother and biggest mentor, for the Titans. Besides a guy like Steve McNair, he was Titan royalty and stuff like that. But, I love Bull, and, he really taught me the ropes. And, at that time, we had a real strong veteran presence that we were just able to look up to and as rookies and leaders. And, it was great to have a first-round pick like Pac-Man who was outspoken, and he kind of stood up for all the rookies in our class.
Gotcha. All right, so you always had that. That's funny, though. It's crazy to hear different sides of different stories and stuff like that. And it's always really interesting to find out, like, who was the outspoken one, what do you do as a rookie? Do you, kind of bark back, or you kind of just do your own thing? And
you better not bark back. Otherwise, you have a whole bunch of pissed off vets. There's a few young guys who tried to bark back, their rookie year, and it didn't work out too well. They either end up tied to the goalpost or tied to some hole and getting dunked in the cold tub. So, like I said, you got to earn that respect. And that's what you want to do. You want to go out there and you make plays. No one cares about what you did in college. They always say that. Quit wearing that college bullshit, in the locker room. This is the pros. So, and I had all the school pride in the world. I came from a big university, but none of that stuff mattered. And, it's like you're rebuilding your resume once you get there.
Definitely. When you were with the Titans, I know the first year you were with them, I think you guys went, like, you only won 4 games, right? It was a rough year.
Oh, yeah. I know that for a fact because I remember we won 4 games because I remember as soon as the last game was over, we had our final team meeting. I flew to the Rose Bowl to watch my Titan brother, play in the best college game ever. So I was 4-12. I haven't lost that much in my lifetime, so I had to go back and get around, my winning family and winning circles.
So you were at the Rose Bowl with Vince Young, huh?
Oh, yeah. And I won a lot of money that game. I mean, that year in general from my Titans teammates, everyone bet against BY and the Longhorns that year. So, we had Donnie Mickey from Ohio State. We had a couple other guys that, we played a lot of big games that year. So people always wanted action, and, it worked out for me, and my rookie salary got bumped up a little bit just because of my Longhorns.
Definitely, man. That was one of the greatest college games ever. I mean, again, shout out to VY again. I know that Brian Arakpo goes, oh, shout out to VY for getting me a natty. He got himself a national championship.
All day.
But that's awesome. And then the following year, you pick up Vince Young. Now, how was that? Now, were you guys bonded really close because of the Longhorn connection, or how did that work out for Vince Young also going into the team?
He was one of my best friends in college. We lived together for a little while, my last year there. So, we obviously quarterback, tight end, bond. So, I mean, that's, you get your brother, you get your quarterback there. You think your career is about to be booming once your boy gets there. So, I was super excited to have him.
Definitely. Now, a lot of people, they know the tight end situation, but they don't know the position automatically. What I mean by that is, like, they think tight end is just you go out and you catch the ball. Not necessarily, right? You got to block. You got to do different schemes and stuff like that. Can you explain in your situation, what did the Titans want you to do specifically? Because then you have Titans that are run team defense first, offense before throwing. So for tight end, they use you guys more for blocks and stuff like that. Can you explain to everyone your role with the tight end situation?
Well, Jeff Fisher, we was definitely a running team first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So obviously you got to have that aspect in the game where you want to, you got to get down in the trenches and get a little rough. I wasn't always fond of that part because, those dudes down there are big as hell.
Mm-hmm.
You get some of the bigger guys. We had Aaron Kenny. We had Ben Troop, along with myself. So it was good to learn from guys and to really learn the techniques of stuff down, of how to hold your own down there in the trenches with some of the bigger guys. But having a good tight end that can do both, it really sets up and opens up the play action. Helps you on third down, helps you in short yardage situation. As you see now, guys are really stretching the field. Guys like Kelsey, Waller from the Raiders, they're really stretching the field to make big plays. So, when you can have a guy who can block in the run game and, stretch the field and keep defenses off balance, it's such an asset to your team. Because you have an automatic mismatch every single play. Play design obviously helps with that too. So you combine a great tight end with a great play caller. You can have somebody that's pretty much unstoppable, like a Kelsey and a Kittle and a Waller.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you talked about that, and you mentioned that the situation with Tennessee, right? You have the tight ends. We have Jonnu Smith that went to New England. We had a Delaney Walker. I mean, from your standpoint, what's the situation with the tight end in Tennessee right now? Again, I'm not too sold on the tight end situation. Any of the players, Anthony Furtzker, you got Tommy Hudson.
Yeah, Furtzker, that's his name, Furtzker.
Yeah, Furtzker. And then you have also Michael Pruitt, which is nice. He comes in. What do you think about these tight ends and maybe the situation or the play calling? Do you think it's the play calling, or do you think it's the tight end, or it's a little bit of everything? What's in your situation?
It's always a little bit of everything. If you don't get no chances to make plays, and then people are going to be like, oh, well, he's not doing much. But you got to pile up opportunities. Now there are situations, and this always kind of goes down to watching the film and stuff like that. Our guys in situations where they can't get open, or they're playing man to man, and they can't get no separation. Those things do happen. So you always want to find a guy that you can trust and depend on in those situations. A lot of defenses play man to man, so you need a guy who can get open on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And move the chains for you. You always want to have a guy to do that, but this is the NFL. It's tough. Those guys on defense are good too. So, I haven't got to study those guys that much, so I don't want to speak too much to them. But as the your job as a player in the NFL, and when they call your number, you got to make you got to do well with those opportunities, especially if you don't get none, and that's how you create more opportunities for yourself. For me, like I was the third tight end my rookie year, and I used to just kind of run on the field, and I would make plays, and that's how I developed getting more touches and getting more opportunities and getting more playing time. Just when my number was called, I made the play. So, that's the best thing you can do at your own position, no matter what it is when they call your number to make the play.
Got you. Now, you played with you had some hard hitters back in the NFL. Again, the NFL now, it's a little bit different. They throw a lot of flags now, right? They're a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
It's more, it helps the player out a lot. But back in the day, you played with the Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, Troy Polamalu. Out of everyone, who was the hardest hitter? Who'd you like lining up with? And then on the other side is who was the one that would kind of give you a nice little lick?
Those Pittsburgh and Baltimore defenses, you knew when you played those games that it was just going to be, sink or swim, man. You knew it was going to be, you're going to get bloodied up, you're going to get bruised up. And that's why it's so important. It feels so gratifying when you win those games because it's going to be an all-out brawl. As a guy, who plays in, the tight end position, I'm in the middle of the field. I'm where all the big guys are at. So, they're definitely throwing licks there. So, you got to have your head on the swivel, but, you can't at the same time be running around there timid. You get paid a lot of money to play this game. So, and that's why you're a pro. So, the more you prepare yourself and the more you study the guys that you're playing against, the more it helps you out there. But I love that challenge. There's nothing I feel like I can't accomplish in life because of playing against those defenses like that. It's such a challenge, and to be successful and have played well against those teams, the Bears, the Ravens, the Steelers, I really take that to heart because, there was a bunch of Hall of Famers on those defenses.
Absolutely, man. Now, as your whole career, what was one of the highlight moments? Do you have anything that you look back at or tell anyone that, like, yeah, this and that, just a story or two or anything, like maybe a play, a certain play, or like I said, the game. I know one of the games that you don't want to talk about was the Patriots game. That was disgusting. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I
Tom
know.
Brady,
Yeah.
Tom Brady 6 touchdown in the blizzard.
Yeah, bro.
That's a crazy story though, because Jeff was telling us before the game, hey, it's just gonna rain a little bit in pregame. It's gonna be fine, don't worry. So we didn't have no winter gear with us. We were just it's supposed to rain a little bit. So and then it turns into a full blizzard, and then they're out here throwing flea flickers. And so when Randy Moss came to our team, I think the year after that, he told us, he's like, we knew we was gonna beat y'all because y'all didn't have the right cleats on.
Wow.
So it is what it is. But for me, it was just gratifying having the career I had. I had a couple hundred catches, a couple thousand yards. I wasn't even supposed to make it to the NFL, man. I had 3 ACL tears before I even made it pro. I mean, so if there's a 1% chance of making it to the NFL, I mean, what's the percentage in the odds when you have that kind of injury history? So to be able to go to the pros, be a starter, play on one of the best Titan teams ever. The year that we went 13-3, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but I would put that team up against anybody. We were physical. We had an amazing defense. We could run the ball. We had guys that made plays. So, I mean, I feel like my career was, complete. I would love to win a Super Bowl. It's not, obviously, everyone doesn't get to experience that, even just to play the one. But, it was just a great experience and the most kind of incredible, humbling, learning experience I could ever even ask for, and it's one of those moments where you have to be there.
Definitely. And again, you've played in playoff football as well,
Yep.
the atmosphere and everything like that, regardless of the outcome. I mean, a lot, like you said, a lot of
just
people.
playing against those Hall of Famers, man. Like, you're seeing all the guys like I played against going to there, Peyton Manning, Palomalu, Ed Reed, Ray, Terrell Suggs and all those guys are going, James Harrison is going to be going, Urlacher, Briggs, we played against so many good players. And it's awesome to be able to see them and be like, yeah, we battled.
Definitely. I agree. Now, is there any, like you said, I know you were talking about Keith. Is there any other former Titan football players that you're still very close to or in touch to? I think Linda White lives. He lives in Colorado, no?
Yeah, we got a whole little Titan group chat, man.
That's funny. That's cool.
Washington, BY, Lindell, CJ, I think, and Mouton and Bullet. So that's kind of my core group. But we're all brothers.
Yeah,
we're all brothers. We all when we see each other, it's like we never left. And so that's one of the most rewarding things about playing in the NFL is the locker room, the camaraderie, the relationships that you develop that carry on long after football. I mean, guys have almost been retired for almost 10 years now, but we're still like brothers. We still can, talk about games that we played and, plays and stuff like that. So, these are memories that will never, ever, ever be forgotten and things that are in record books that have been sealed that will always be there.
Absolutely. That's something that's always beautiful. You guys go through something that a lot of people don't go through, like a certain group that only you guys know from experiences from yourselves. It's real nice and stuff like that. What are your plans? What are you doing right now?
So what I've been working on right now is
let's hear it.
I'm launching and this is this is kind of new to everybody, but I'm launching a pretty big cannabis project.
Okay.
So I'm building a cannabis resort here in Southern Colorado.
Okay.
And I'm launching a cannabis brand. It's called All Pro.
There you go. I'll put in the link and everything in the video. Man.
So the website's allprofarms.net, but it's a cool project. A cannabis resort. We're going to be able to have cultivations and retail, overnight accommodations, so people can come and just consume and enjoy cannabis. And if they need the benefits from the medicine, the medicinal side, we get to provide all that too. So a nice little wellness retreat for people to come and just hang out. I know we haven't made it all the way to Tennessee yet on the cannabis side, but Colorado is live and thriving, and it's amazing. And I really Love what I'm doing. You know, most guys really struggle, you know, when they're done playing to find that other thing because nothing really can replace football. Like,
Yep.
it's what you lived and breathed your whole life. For a lot of guys, this was your dream. Once you get there, you're like, damn, what else is next? You know, you need to find a new dream. So for me, you know, cannabis has really kind of, you know, set me straight and give me a great direction and purpose in my life now. And, you know, I'm so sold on the medicinal benefits and, you know, it being a more viable option than, you know, prescription drugs. So, you know, I'm going to be, you know, banging drums and making a lot of noise in the cannabis space. And I'm just hoping that I can change the dynamic and change what people have thought and learned about cannabis, you know, all across the country and just really shine the right light and destigmatize this amazing plant medicine.
There you go, man. Well, you know what? I hope everything works out for you. Hopefully you strive, and we'll see that everywhere we go. All pro. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you come to Colorado, make sure you go to your nearest dispensary and get that all pro.
Hey, man, I went to Colorado. I almost passed out because the elevation is no joke, bro.
Yeah, you got to take it easy, man. You got to take it easy. You take deep breaths, drink lots of water, and smoke a little pro, and you're going to be straight.
Let me tell you a quick story before I let you go. I went with my ex-girlfriend at the time. We were walking up. We're doing it was Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, Colorado Springs.
Yeah. So we're walking up, and then he had this old white couple, this old guy just like chilling, like walking with his book bag, and he's having a whole ass conversation with me, and I'm walking up, and I'm trying to talk to him. Midway through, I'm like, damn, like I'm breathing heavy. I'm like, shit, and I'm like, this dude is like just chilling, and he's like at least like 65, and I'm like, I'm 30. How is this possible? And I'm just like,
acclimated.
Yeah, man, he was just used to it. I'm like, shit. Like, no wonder. I understand why like fighters and stuff, like MMA fighters, go to train over there, because that was no joke. I thought it was BS, but
yeah. I mean, if you have a few drinks, you know, it's gonna hit you even faster here. So,
yeah.
You know, I know Javon Curse came out here one time, and I was like, bro, you need to slow down. We're not in Miami, and you know, he had a wild time, man, but huge headache. So. You got to be careful when you come out here, man. The elevation is real for sure.
Yeah, but it's beautiful year round, even if in the snow or the summertime. I know I went to Mile High last year for like a preseason game just to check it out. But again, it was super nice, super nice city, and probably do it again. But like I said, man, thank you so much for your blood, sweat, and tears on the field. Like I said, you're one of my favorite Titans to watch. Again, it's just a different type of animal when you're on the field, man, compared to now, man. It's crazy. You wouldn't even think that you played football just because you're kind of so humble and chill. But as I learned to talk to more football players, it's like that. And like I said, hopefully your business thrives and you do what you love. That's the most important thing, especially after football. But like I said, I appreciate everything that you did on the field, man. And hopefully we can talk more throughout the season and stuff like that, man.
No doubt, man. I know, you know, Alumni Weekend is the 21st of November, so I know all the guys will be out there. So I look forward to seeing all the fans, man, tighten up, and you know, hopefully we can keep pushing on this season. You know, we had a bad game last week, but you know, it's a long season, and it's all about bouncing back.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm going with Gerald on that. I know he told me that he usually has a +1, but his wife's not gonna go. He's like, I'll give you a ticket. So I'll see you there then.
There you go.
All right, bro. Again, like I said, it was nice meeting you. Like I said, thank you so much, and God bless, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, brother.
No problem.